So today I'm going to be giving some tips on how I do my hair and faces. It was supposed to be skulls and then faces, but I think everybody would rather hear how I do my faces rather than the skulls. So I'm just going to skip right over that part and go straight to the face, since a lot of people have been asking that question. For this video, I think I may even go a little longer, about 7 minutes. Normally I do 5 minutes, but I don't get to say exactly what I want in the tutorial whenever I go down to 5 minutes. So I'm going to see how this one works out with a longer time. So in my own personal experience, I found that drawing faces is a lot easier when you draw it bigger. I mean, I used to draw it on 8x11 paper, and it didn't give me the practice that I needed, or I couldn't add the details I wanted. So I went up to now I'm using 14x17 paper, and it's been coming out a whole lot better. I can see the details I want. I can get in what I want into the littlest spots. I'm even thinking of going bigger than that now at this point because of how much better it is. Okay, so getting started. Right now I'm working on the hair. The first thing you don't want to do is start off blonde hair with yellow. It's a big mistake. It looks like a cartoon. People will see it and it'll mess up your image. If you're going for photorealism, it's not going to work out. So in this pic, what I'm doing is I'm starting out with dark browns, light browns. I also have sand and a little bit of a peach color on the side, just to, for a tone. But you can't go into yellow because that's not the correct look for hair. Alright, when I sketched in the hair, I did it as wild as I could. Hair is a little wilder than you think, and it comes in clumps. So what I did to handle the clumps was I sketched out parts that was free flowing, and then I went into the deeper details with darker colors to help the clumps stand out. Always start out light and go into the darker when you're starting with the hair, because you can see exactly how much more tone you need. As you can see on the left of it, you can see all those little clumps of hair and the little strands that sit on top. It just helped out so much more to start off with the light and then work your way to the dark. And on the other side, you can see how I was able to start on the light, and the light browns just let it show little bits of where the hair needs to be. I'm going to be showing a couple of zoomed in pics so you can see exactly close-ups of the hair, so you can see how I did the details. Alright, so for the face, I'm starting with the eyelashes and the eyebrows, so that way I can see exactly how dark I need the tone in her face. Since those are the darkest parts of the face, it lets me see exactly how much darker I need to go as I go along. I'm now going over the eyes slowly. You want to do your portraits in little small sections at a time. That way you can see exactly if I have to go back over the eye and make it a little darker, I can do that, because now I see that some of her skin tones are going darker and fading out where you would see the eye. It would look too bright, so I have to go back inside and darken that up again. And one thing you want to watch out for is when you're actually drawing certain details like wrinkles in the face and stuff like that, you don't want to actually draw it in, you want to shade it in. So as you're shading it, it'll give off the look of a realistic shadow instead of a line, because we don't have actual lines on our face. Everything is done by shading. The best thing to do is learn a little bit of shading. I'll probably do a video in the future so that you can see some shading techniques. But basically you want to guide yourself along where you see the curves of the person's face and use shading for that. But I'm using brighter tones and darker tones. In her face right now, I'm actually going over it with a light color. There's pretty much the same colors you see me using the hair, only some browns instead with some peaches. And I'm actually using a pink for a blush tone in her cheeks. And right after I go over that in her cheeks with peach, I'm going again over it with the pink so I can make sure it stands out. And then I'm using my colored pencils on top of that. It'll still stand out, but I'm going on top of that with darker colors so that way it'll almost give off a rosy cheek look. Now when you get close to the hairlines, you want to make sure that you add the trim lines dark enough so that it does not look like it's part of the hair. You want to separate the face from the hair, so you go along the lines with whatever you have that's darker, matching the skin tone. I can't really give you exact tones. You'll have to figure out what your favorite tones are to use when you're doing faces. I recommend going to the store, just buying whatever you see that looks like it could be some skin tones, and start a small collection of those. That way when you start trying it out, you'll find out what works best for you. Alright, so I'm going over the last cheek and penciling in exactly everything over again so I can make sure it's dark enough. Her lips, I'm going to be going over it with purples, pinks, and beige. That way I can make a tone that complements her lips. I'm also going to add highlights of white so that her lips look more realistic and pop out a little bit more. Hey guys, if you would like to be drawn into one of my art pieces, feel free to send in your face pic to any one of my social media pages. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, pretty much all social media pages, and you'll be able to send in there. Also, if you like this video, please subscribe, and I'll try and get more videos out to you as I go along. Thanks for watching.